Looking for a quick way to analyze a real estate opportunity using the buy, rehab, refinance, and then rent method? This calculator will help you do that and break down all the details in an easy to understand way. This tool was built using Microsoft Power BI. My first recommendation would be to use this on a computer and in full screen mode for the best experience. You can click on the double arrow on the bottom right of the screen to go into full screen mode. Clicking on the Help button will give you some quick tips on the tool. One thing to note is that due to the limitations in Power BI, there may be some rounding of precise numbers. Click the button on the bottom to return to the calculator. On the left-hand side, you'll be able to input all the information on the property you'll be analyzing. You can either use the slider or type in numbers into the text box. Note that for percentages, you will see the format required when you click in the box. In this example, 5% equals 0.05. On a lot of these inputs, you will see an information icon on the top right. Hover your mouse above that to get more details on that specific input. Once you have input all of your numbers, there are 3 phases to this BRRRR strategy that this calculator breaks out. You have the Rehab Period, the Pre-Refinance Rental Period, and the Post-Refinance Rental Period. We'll start out with the Rehab Period. Based on your inputs, you can see what your initial investment in the property will be. You can also see your monthly holding costs. Your total cash outlay is going to describe the total amount of cash needed to complete this deal. It takes the total of your holding costs, $528 times 6 months, which gets you $3,167, adds that to your down payment, and then also adds your rehab that is not financed to get your total cash outlay. After the rehab period, there will be a period of time where you have not refinanced it yet, but you're able to begin renting it out. This is the pre-refi rental period. Click on the button to see this time frame. This will break down some key metrics of your property during this period, including monthly income, monthly expenses, property info, and key performance indicators. For some of the numbers, you will see an information icon that you can hover over to give a definition and more detail on how that was calculated. For example, in the cash flow, you will see a definition, the formula, and an example that uses the numbers that you've inputted on this property. The final period is the post-refinance rental period. The numbers at the bottom are split into 5 buckets: income and cash flow, mortgage, expenses, property, and key performance indicators. Most numbers are self-explanatory, but for the more in-depth ones, such as the KPIs, you can hover your mouse above the information icon to get an explanation and breakdown of what that is measuring and how it is calculated. This shows the calculations based on your input, just like the other screen. It also gives you a definition and some guidelines on what would be considered a good cash-on-cash return on investment. One of the other cool features is you can fast forward to years in the future to see how all of the numbers change over time. It is important to note that these numbers are at the end of the year selected. If you select year 10, the numbers will reflect how the property is expected to be performing at the end of year 10 based on your inputs. As you can see, you had put in a monthly rent of $1,800 with an annual income/rent increase of 3%. Based on those parameters, at the end of year 10, the expected rent on this property would be $2,419, up from the original $1,800 amount. The expenses all increase over time as well based on the annual expense increase. The chart at the top gives a quick visual on how your monthly expenses, monthly income, and monthly cash flow look over a 30-year period. You can hold your mouse above any year to quickly see how the property is expected to be performing in that year. By default, you will be seeing this cash flow chart. You can flip to the property value details to see how the property value, equity, and loan balance change over time. If you have any questions or suggestions for the tool, feel free to reach out at the email listed at the bottom of the report. If you have a report idea you would like to be created, feel free to reach out and I will see what I can do. Thank you for taking this time to view the video, and happy investing.